On a silent night in 1899, in the middle of the frozen Colorado desert, a lone man adjusted his equipment in search of something no one had ever tried to capture before. His name was Nikola Tesla, a misunderstood genius, called crazy by many, but who was about to live one of the strangest experiences in the entire history of science. That night, while testing his gigantic transmission tower, Tesla picked up a sound that seemed to come from far, far away. It wasn't atmospheric noise, it was no ordinary interference. It was something that was repeated, a clear rhythmic pattern. As an attempt at communication, Tesla was in shock. He listened, took notes, analyzed. That was smart. It wasn't human. It was as if someone was trying to talk to him, from space. What exactly did he hear that night? Who was trying to communicate? And why since then have so many tried to silence this part of history? What did the aliens want to tell Nikola Tesla? And did he get the message? Today, more than a century later, scientists are still trying to decipher similar cosmic signals. But few know that Tesla may have been the first human to make contact. In this video, you will learn the full story of the day Nikola Tesla said he spoke to an intelligence outside Earth. Get ready to dive into a real plot, surrounded by mystery, technology, and questions that remain unanswered to this day. Because, maybe, just maybe, Tesla wasn't crazy. He was just hearing something the world couldn't yet understand: the secret laboratory in Colorado Springs. In 1899, Nikola Tesla isolated himself in an almost forgotten place on the map. The destination? The small town of Colorado Springs, Colorado, surrounded by silent mountains, vast open fields, and a sky that seemed to touch infinity. It was not a random choice. Tesla needed a place away from prying eyes, where he could test his boldest ideas without interruption or judgment. It was there, high on a lonely plain, that he built one of the most mysterious laboratories in the history of modern science. A simple warehouse on the outside, but inside, a true cathedral of electricity. In the center, a gigantic coil that shot sparks several meters high, roaring as if the sky itself was being summoned. Tesla was obsessed with an idea: transmitting electrical energy wirelessly to anywhere in the world. I imagined a future in which there would be no more cables, towers, or fuel. Everything would be powered by invisible energy, captured directly from the air. Many called this madness. For Tesla, it was inevitable. But it wasn't just electricity he was looking for. In that silent immensity, Tesla began using his equipment to capture waves from space. During his nights of testing, he noticed something strange: a noise, a sequel, a pattern. Initially, he thought it was interference from the atmosphere or even a miscalculation. But the more I listened, the more I became sure. There was a logic. It wasn't random. It was as if something, or someone, was trying to communicate. Alone, in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by machines pulsing electricity and diagrams scattered everywhere, Tesla recorded each pulse, each interval, each repetition. He wasn't just picking up electrical signals. I was listening to the universe. Some say he was delusional. Others believe he was the first human to pick up an intelligent signal from space. The truth is that in that laboratory, surrounded by the sound of thunder that he himself created, Nikola Tesla heard something that would change his life forever, and maybe if we had listened more carefully back then, it might have changed ours too. The mysterious sign. During a cold night in 1899, Nikola Tesla was alone in his laboratory in the mountains of Colorado Springs. All around him, instruments hummed with energy. Electric beams danced across giant coils as he experimented with wireless transmission. The sky outside was dark and silent, but inside that hidden warehouse, something extraordinary was about to happen. Tesla was adjusting his receiver when suddenly he heard a sound that shouldn't have been there. It wasn't atmospheric noise, nor was it common interference. It was different, a pattern, rhythm, necessary. He stopped everything. He listened again. 3 pulses, then a pause, and 3 more pulses, as if it was trying to say something. It was like hearing a code coming from far, far away. He repeated the tests, changed the cables, adjusted the frequencies, and the pattern continued. Always the same. That couldn't be natural. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a coincidence. It was as if someone somewhere in the universe was trying to start a conversation. An unknown intelligence. Something that was waiting to be heard. Tesla, amazed, wrote in his diary with a certain tremor in his hands. He believed he had captured an extraterrestrial message, and he wasn't afraid to say it. His words were direct. My first observations left me astonished. There was a feeling of certainty that it was not coming from Earth. It seemed like a message. Knew many would laugh, that the newspapers could call him crazy. But he didn't care. Because for Tesla, that wasn't just a sign, it was a contact. The beginning of something great. And at that moment, inside an isolated laboratory forgotten by authorities, perhaps humanity's greatest conversation had begun, with 3 simple pulses of invisible light crossing space. This experience forever changed his view of the universe. He came to believe that the cosmos was alive, conscious, and communicative. And maybe, just maybe, he was the first human to hear a voice from another world. Did Tesla believe in extraterrestrial life? Nikola Tesla was not only a brilliant scientist, but also a man with such an open mind that he saw beyond what most even dared to imagine. At a time when mentioning life beyond Earth was a source of laughter or isolation, Tesla stood firm in his convictions. He didn't just believe in the existence of civilizations on other planets. He was sure they were trying to communicate with us. During his experiments in Colorado Springs, Tesla claimed to have received radio signals with repetitive patterns that he believed were not of terrestrial origin. And the most impressive thing is that he interpreted these signals as an attempt at intelligent contact, something like a cosmic greeting. To many, this would seem crazy. For Tesla, it was just science not yet understood. But why did he believe this with such conviction? Tesla did not base his ideas on vague assumptions. He said that the entire universe was a symphony of vibrations, and that by understanding the correct frequencies, we could connect with anything, even intelligences from other worlds. For him, everything was a matter of harmony. If life exists, on other planets it certainly communicates through means that we have not yet mastered. And in his mind, his equipment was on track to capture these voices from the unknown. Tesla even publicly stated that he was hearing something that no one else was hearing, and he said more. He believed that Mars was inhabited and that the signals could be coming from there. His statements were met with skepticism, of course. After all, at that time, the very idea of radios and wireless transmissions was still considered almost magical. Now imagine someone saying they were using this to talk to beings from another planet. Decades later, when astronomers began detecting mysterious radio signals coming from deep space, so-called cosmic pulses and fast radio bursts, Tesla's words took on new weight. Would he have captured the first records of these phenomena more than 100 years in advance? Or was he actually connecting with an intelligence that still remains silent to the rest of humanity? The truth is that Nikola Tesla saw the world as few others can. He was not limited by the boundaries of common thought. And if he said he heard something coming from space, perhaps we should pay more attention, not to believe without question, but to recognize that the mind that created so many wonders may have even tapped into a greater secret, one that we are still trying to decipher. But what the aliens said? Tesla was alone in his laboratory, surrounded by coils, electrical instruments, and giant antennas pointed at the sky. The silence of the night was broken only by the hum of the machines he had designed. Amid the tests to capture cosmic signals, something unusual happened. A pattern began to repeat itself. 3 short pulses, a break. 3 pulses again. Then, silence. Shortly afterwards, the same pattern returned. It was as if someone, somewhere in the universe, was trying to make contact. For Tesla, this was not just any interference. He was absolutely sure that this was not natural. It wasn't a random noise nor an equipment failure. It was an attempt at communication. Tesla described the experience as if he had heard the very fabric of the cosmos trying to speak to him. But what did those knocks mean? What was that pulse sequence trying to convey? Tesla believed that if intelligent life existed on other planets, it would use the most universal language there is, mathematics. No matter the race, species, or planet, numbers are absolute. The serial repetition, the timed intervals, and the constant return of the pattern left no doubts for him. It was as if someone was saying, "We're here. We can hear you. Can you understand us?" For weeks, Tesla tried to respond to the signals. He adjusted the frequencies, changed the direction of the antennas, and tried to replicate the same pattern back, but the signal never became a conversation. It was as if the other party just wanted to make it clear that we are not alone, without revealing anything more. Just confirmation of existence, a kind of cosmic greeting, a hello that crossed space and reached the most brilliant mind on Earth at that time. To the world of science, Tesla was considered eccentric, and many laughed at his theory. But Tesla himself didn't care about the judgment of others. He continued to assert that sooner or later, humanity would confirm what he already knew. There are intelligences beyond ours, and they may be watching, waiting, listening. What did the aliens say? Maybe they didn't say words or show images or send complex explanations, but they left something even more powerful: doubt, the possibility, and the certainty that, behind the silence of the universe, there may be someone trying to call us. Why did they want to silence Tesla? Nikola Tesla was not just a scientist. It was a threat. Not for ordinary people, but for something much bigger. The interests that controlled power, money, and technology in the early 20th century. While the world applauded Thomas Edison and his expensive, limited, and wired energy, Tesla dreamed of something unthinkable: distributing free electricity to everyone without the need for cables. One tower, free wireless energy, reaching any point on the planet. Imagine this in a world where big companies were building empires by charging for every kilowatt. It was as if Tesla had declared war on the system. And he knew it. Little by little, financial support disappeared. Their projects were being abandoned. Wardenclyffe Tower, which was supposed to be the first global wireless power plant, was destroyed. Newspapers began to portray him as an eccentric. The man who had revolutionized electricity was reduced to a strange character, forgotten and ignored. But the thing goes further. Tesla said he captured messages from space from intelligent beings. For many, this was crazy. For others, a risk. His experiments with vibrations, frequencies, and radio waves were ahead of any technology at the time. He claimed to have created a death ray, a thought transmitter, and an interplanetary communication system. And he said more. All of this was based on real science, on formulas and frequencies that he mastered. This caught the attention of the authorities. When Tesla died, in a New York hotel room, alone and with almost no money, the United States government acted quickly. His notebooks, documents, projects, and equipment were confiscated immediately. Dozens of boxes disappeared. A government department called the Office of Alien Property took over the investigation, even though Tesla was an American citizen. It's as if they feared he was working with an enemy country, or with something even more out of their control. To this day, many of these documents have never been revealed. The question that remains is, why was someone who spoke about free energy, communication with other worlds, and inventions that could change humanity, silenced? Maybe because Tesla didn't serve a single government, not even a bank, not even a corporation. It served the idea of a free future, where knowledge did not belong to a few, but to everyone. And this was too dangerous to let happen. Years later, scientists confirmed signs from outside the Earth. Was Tesla right? Today, the idea of signals coming from outside the Earth is no longer considered a simple science fiction theory. Instead, scientists are recording real signals that come from unknown places in the universe. These signals, known as FRBs or fast radio bursts, are extremely powerful bursts of radiation that emerge from distant cosmic sources. The most mysterious thing is that these signals have patterns that, until now, no one has been able to completely decipher. They do not appear to be simple interference or natural noise from space, but something more, something smarter perhaps. At first, scientists thought that FRBs could be caused by phenomena like supernova explosions or even neutron star collisions. But as more and more signals were detected, simple explanations of natural phenomena no longer seemed sufficient. More daring theories began to emerge. And what many scientists couldn't help but think is that these signals could, in fact, be a communication from an intelligence beyond Earth. Now see how intriguing this is. Tesla, decades earlier, already believed that the Earth was being observed by other civilizations. He claimed he was hearing something in space, something that seemed to have intelligence behind it. He couldn't say exactly where it came from or what it meant, but he was right about one thing. The entire universe seemed to be vibrating, giving off signals that only someone like him could perceive. When Tesla picked up that first strange signal in 1899, he believed he was receiving a message from Mars. Today we know that there are millions of cosmic signals that continue to reach Earth, and scientists are just beginning to understand their depth and reach. Can you imagine the impact of this? Tesla himself, a man of his time, managed to capture something that today's scientists are still trying to decipher. We're no longer just talking about strange signals on an old radio or an invention in Tesla's lab. We are talking about real, cosmic signals that could very well have an intelligent origin and that are being picked up by astronomers around the world. The most curious thing is that these signs are not just an isolated anomaly. They are so powerful that they have been detected in various parts of the globe, confirming that this is not a unique phenomenon, but rather something that may originate in a very distant area of the universe, something that is still beyond the reach of our understanding. And what Tesla said about frequencies and waves seems more relevant than ever. He already said that if we could understand the frequencies of the universe, we could not only discover new principles of physics, but also come into contact with more advanced civilizations. Now imagine what that means. If, in fact, these signals are a form of communication, this could confirm what Tesla believed. He always said that the universe was full of tunes, and that the most complex communication signals were not limited to Earth. The only question was whether we could tune in correctly. The most interesting thing about all of this is the fact that while the world focuses on more modern signals, like FRBs, Tesla himself may have been the first to pick up one of these signals, without even having the modern tools we have today. He heard what we now think of as just noise, but which could in fact be the echo of a cosmic dialogue that he was privileged to hear. Tesla, with his brilliant mind and ability to see beyond the obvious, was possibly the only one who was tuned to the right frequency at the right time. What if he was right? What if these signals really are a form of intelligent communication, something that was simply ignored at the time? Now, what scientists are realizing is that Tesla may have intuitively grasped something that many of them are still trying to explain rationally. While contemporary science is just beginning to understand these signals and their possible origin, Tesla already seemed to know that the universe could be more complex than previously imagined. And this is where Tesla's story connects with modern advances. A genius of the past, listening to signals that today scientists are beginning to decipher. The only difference is that Tesla already knew that these signals were coming from somewhere far away, perhaps from another world. As we look to the future, Tesla left us clues that continue to resonate in the present. He often said that the secret of the universe was in the numbers 3, 6, and 9. It was a deep belief, a pattern that he believed was the key to understanding the deepest mysteries of reality. And to this day, scientists and mathematicians try to unravel this enigma, looking for signs of a higher order in everything around us. Was Tesla simply ahead of his time, or did he have access to something beyond human understanding? Something that could have come from other civilizations? The truth is that many of the signs he captured in 1899, on the silent nights of Colorado Springs, today resemble the phenomena we are beginning to understand better. Cosmic signals, frequencies, radio waves. All of this intriguingly aligns with what Tesla was trying to discover. He believed that communication with beings from other planets was not only possible, but imminent. Tesla dreamed of an era of interplanetary communication, where humanity would finally understand that we are not alone in the universe. But the big question remains: are we ready to listen to these signals? Could it be that somewhere in the vast cosmos, there are beings that are watching us, waiting for the right moment to make us a proposal, an exchange of knowledge, or even an alliance? While the world seems to continue to walk without answers, Tesla's mysteries continue to live on in his inventions and theories. His ideas about energy, communication, and even the very structure of the universe are still studied and discussed by scientists around the world. And maybe, just maybe, the key to all this was given to him long before our understanding that the universe is bigger and more interconnected than we imagine. Now, more than ever, Tesla is more than just a scientist. He is a symbol of limitless curiosity, an example that true knowledge goes beyond the known boundaries of science. If you believe that there is still something more to be discovered, something beyond what traditional science has shown us, then you are in the right place. Because in Tesla Mind, we explore the limits of the impossible as we seek answers to the questions that continue to haunt us. If you were as fascinated as we were, sign up now. This is just the beginning of the journey. The universe is much more vast and mysterious than we can imagine, and Tesla's mind still has a lot to teach us.